Oh, oh my God. I could kiss the ground. It's over. It's finally over. A month. A literal, solid month. Well, not a full one, but almost. I have been without my desktop computer. September 27th. By the way, I'm recording this on October 20th, 2022. September 27th. I woke up to find that my computer would not turn on at all. I didn't even get fans and lights turning on. Like when most people say their computer doesn't turn on, that's usually sometimes you get fans and spinning and lights turning on, and sometimes you don't, because most laymen don't know the difference. I know the difference, and so I wasn't even so much as getting fans and lights. I deduced that it might have been my power supply unit, so I placed an order for one of those. It was supposed to arrive on Friday, October 2nd, 2022, and it got delayed, and because that was on a Friday, that means getting delayed for even one day means it was delayed for the whole weekend. Oh, that was annoying. But I thought, there's not much I can do about it. The ship's already sailed. So Monday, October 5th, 5th, finally got the power supply in the mail. I hooked it up, I pressed the power button, nothing happened. Nothing at all. Damn. Okay. I must have calculated wrong. Apparently it was the motherboard. Well. Oh, thank God. Okay. Oh, thank God. The computer just, froze on me for a minute there. I thought it was going to crash, and I'm going to tell you why in a little bit. Why that scared me so much. Anyway, so apparently I deduced that it must have been the motherboard. So I placed an order for a motherboard. This time, because I was tired of waiting, I was already, it had only been about a week and I was already tired of waiting. Imagine that. I paid extra for the fastest shipping possible. It arrived on time. This time it was not delayed. So I installed that motherboard in. And when I pressed the power button, suddenly things turned on. Fans started spinning, lights turned on. I thought I was in the clear. I thought I was in the home stretch. That was clearly the problem. The motherboard, swapping out the motherboard actually made the difference. So I thought, hey, and this motherboard was brand new, so I thought I was in the clear. So I actually turned the power back off. I hooked everything else up, everything that was like the hard drives and stuff, and I made sure to do all the screws. So I turned the power back on. Again, lights came on, fans started spinning, and nothing else happened. I literally got nothing. I didn't even get a beat code. Now, for those of you who know how to troubleshoot your computer, you know that that's pretty much the worst omen you could possibly get. That basically means the problem could be literally anything. It could be the motherboard again. It could be the power supply, both of which were brand new. It could be the processor, the RAM, anything. So really, I was fucked. I contacted Newegg. I placed RMAs for both items, both the power supply and the motherboard, because at this point it could have been either one. 99% chance that one of them was defective. So, in the meantime, I actually placed an order for another motherboard. But for the record, I prior to doing the returns, I had actually swapped out the new power supply for the old one, and I got the same results. Lights and fans turned on, but no post. Post, that basically means performance on startup test. When I say I didn't get a beep code, that's what I'm talking about. Ideally, you're looking for one short beep, which means that the post test was successful, and your computer is going to boot up normally. So that's what I was hoping for. But if you get a series of long or short beeps other than that, then that's supposed to tell you what the problem is. Like, for example, if you get just a bunch of short beeps, like beep, 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 for a Gigabyte motherboard, which is what I use, that's supposed to indicate that the RAM is faulty, for example. If I get a beep code that says that is one long beep followed by two short beeps, like beep, 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 that it means that my graphics card has come unseated and I need to take it out of the PCI slot and put it back in again. So that's useful. When I get no beep code at all, that means that something about this computer is so fucked up that it is incapable of even doing the post test. It's so fucked up that it can't even give me any feedback on what the problem is. So that's the worst omen possible. So anyway, when I swapped out my old power supply, I assumed that would have fixed it. Well, I mean, I didn't assume that would have fixed it. What I meant to say was, when I swapped out the new power supply for the old one, I still got the same results. No beep code. So I placed the order for the motherboard, since the power supply was at least, because at this point it was the same rig that I had, on September 27th, except that the motherboard was swapped out. So, process of elimination, I assumed it must have been the motherboard. Again, like apparently this motherboard, despite being brand new, was DOA. Just on a hunch, I placed an order for a third motherboard. It got here, and so I installed that motherboard, powered everything on, and I got the single short beep. Oh my god! I was jumping for joy! Oh, finally out of the woods. I was able to actually get into my desktop. For about 30 minutes! Yeah, then I got a blue screen of death. It turns out that the computer needed to reboot itself. Okay, fine. At least I got the desktop to work now. So, I just waited for the post test to finish, and it said that I needed to insert a hard drive to boot from. Basically, it wasn't detecting any of the hard drives. I mean, it was detecting it just a few minutes ago, so what the fuck? So I tried plugging my C drive into a different SATA port on the motherboard. I even tried switching out the SATA cables. Neither of those seemed to do the trick, and before long, I stopped getting even that message. And before long, I started having the exact same problem as before. Lights and fans turn on, no beep code at all. Oh, shit. Well, that seems like at this point, that's the power supply again. Because that's the common denominator between the two. I obviously have my power supplies plugged into plugged into each of my hard drives, because of fucking course it is. Why wouldn't those hard drives need to be connected to the power supply? Because duh. But those aren't actually essential to the computer posting in the first instance. So when I do my basic troubleshooting, I tend to not worry about hooking up that stuff up. I tend to only hook up that stuff after I believe I'm in the home stretch. But now I'm not even so much as in the home stretch anymore. So apparently power supply is the common denominator between those two things. God fucking damn it! I mean, think about it this way. Let me tell you, there are fewer dick moves that Mother Nature can pull on you than to have you be partially in the clear for a little bit, only to yank that relief away. Like, there are few things that are more draining on your will to live. I mean, it's like, if you've ever had a grandparent who's been in this situation, you'll know what it feels like to have yourself or a loved one be diagnosed with cancer. Aggressive chemotherapy is able to get that cancer into remission. You spend a couple of weeks rejoicing in your newfound security, your newfound clean bill of health, only to, bam, cancer comes back stronger than ever. Oh, that's a well-documented thing. In fact, that's how my paternal grandmother died. She got breast cancer. They managed to get it in remission for a couple of weeks, and then it came back, and this time there was no cure. There was no helping her. So, yeah, that is just one of the biggest dick moves ever. Ugh. Okay. Fucking whatever. I had the other PSU, the first one that I purchased in September, and the motherboard that I purchased in September. Newegg was supposed to be processing a couple of replacements for me, but I didn't want to wait that long. And it's a good thing. By the way, when I said earlier that I was afraid that the computer was when the computer froze for a little bit, my heart skipped a beat. That's the reason why, because I was getting serious deja vu. I thought that I was going to be going through this exact same fucking cycle all over again. Anyway, I didn't want to wait for Newegg to process the replacements, so I bit the bullet. I purchased another power supply off of Newegg. Again, paid extra for the extra shipping. By the way, everything except the first power supply that I purchased, I had paid extra for the extra shipping for all of that shit. By the way, in the meantime, I was using my laptop, and I had actually placed an order for a docking station so that I could at least access my desktop's hard drive files. It arrived in the mail, as scheduled. I hooked everything up, I pressed the power button, and it didn't work at all. Again! Oh my god, again! At this point, I'm starting to feel like I'm cursed. I had to issue a return for the docking station, and at this point, I'm just at my wits' motherfucking end. So anyway, that new power supply arrives in the mail. I hook everything up. And, again, same problem as before. Power supply turns on. Lights turn on, fans start spinning. No beep code. Are you fucking serious? Okay. So at this point, this was a spare part. Both motherboard and power supply are second generation spare parts. Are you fucking serious? How did I get luck this shitty? That when I get a spare parts, those spare parts end up being DOA. I get spare parts, And then they don't work either. How cursed do you have to fucking be? And then throw in the DOA docking station on top of that. Oh, I'm tired. I am tired. So, I waited patiently for Newegg to send me that replacement to the first spare motherboard. I got it in the mail today, October 20th, 2022. I hook everything up. I am praying to God Almighty that this is it. But I'm not getting my hopes up. I hook everything up. And just for good measure, I even swapped out my old processor for a slightly inferior one. I was previously on a Ryzen 5 3600, but I downgraded to a Ryzen 3 1200 just in the off chance that it might have been the processor. Because remember, when you get no beep code at all, the problem could be anything. So, I swapped out, I did the motherboard swap, I did the processor swap, I hooked everything up, I pressed the power button and I said a Hail Mary. I got a single short beep. Hallelujah! Yes! Okay, turn the computer back off. Swap out the inferior processor for the superior one. I just want to make sure that superior processor isn't faulty. I switch it on, and I still get the post beep. I still get the single short beep. Hooray! Not only am I finally out of the woods, but I get to keep my superior processor as well. Oh, thank God. Okay, all the essentials were cleared. I flipped the I/O switch on the power supply. I hook everything else back up good and proper. I flip the power supply back on. I press the power button on the tower. And I get no beep code. Like, what the fuck? We literally just did this a minute ago. How is it that you're still not... How it... Ah! Okay. Deep breaths. Swap out superior processor for the inferior one. The quad core goes back in. Hex core goes back out. Oh God, please let this be it. I turn the power back on, and again, post beep code happens. Oh, I finally booted up. And now I'm finally able to make this video where I rant. At this point, I'm at 19 minutes. Just ranting about what a shitty month I've had. You know what? At this point, I'll take the inferior processor. You can have that. My superior processor is still within warranty. And I'll take having to send my processor back to AMD for repairs while this quad-core processor holds me over. You know what? I'll take that over my piece of shit laptop any day of the week. Because, at least right now, I can make videos, for one, because my video editing license is married to the desktop. But in addition to that, I can actually use the mouse and click on things, and it doesn't have to take 10 to 15 seconds just for the computer to register a single click. Yeah, my laptop was a dual-core 1.6 gigahertz processor and 4 gigs of RAM. My desktop, the one that I'm recording this rant video with, is a quad-core... well, I said it earlier. I don't remember what the hertz are. It's a Ryzen 3 1200, but you guys know what that is. I mean, if you don't, you can easily find it. Let me pull it up first. Yeah, quad-core 3.1 gigahertz. I'll just take a screenshot of that so that I can show it to you guys. And I also am packing 32 gigs of RAM. Plus, it's got a dedicated graphics card. So, this is still so much nicer than my laptop. So much nicer. So, you know what? Oh, and by the way, Newegg didn't even have another one of my power supplies, so they just gave me a refund instead. So it was a really good thing that I chose to place my own order for the power supply. For the spare power supply. Yeah, that was actually a smart move after all. So you know what? I'm just gonna take this half L at this point. I've been taking L's the whole month, trying to get this desktop fixed, only for spare parts to not fucking work, despite being brand new. So I'll just issue an RMA. I'll just invoke a warranty on the superior processor and this quad-core processor that I currently am using. That'll just hold me over for now. Alright, so, when do we get back to streaming? Good question. I'm not sure if my quad-core processor, can handle streaming. And a game. And if there's also going to be a game for me to... like, my OBS Studio and my game are obviously going to have to share the processing power. Is there going to be enough processing power to go around for me to play either Fall Guys or Halo Infinite, or at least something on Twitch, on stream? I don't know. But at least I can go back to making videos. Those don't have to be done in real time. I can afford to sit and wait patiently while the video exports are processing. Oh my god. Oh my god, it was so ridiculous this past month. From September 27th until October 20th. Future Racerthorn, how many days was that? It's been that many days. That I've been coasting by on my smartphone and my laptop. Oh, you want to hear something even more ridiculous? While I was trying to get my desktop fixed, my internet modem also broke down on a Friday night. So I had to wait the whole weekend before I could head over to my ISP and get a new modem. Now, fortunately, I also happen to live very, very close to a public Wi-Fi hotspot that my laptop was able to connect to, but my smartphone could not because it's a 5 gigahertz hotspot network, and my phone can only pick up 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi signals. So, for that weekend, I was left with just the laptop. My smartphone is slightly better than the laptop, but I couldn't even use that because I had no Wi-Fi and no data. So literally everything was just breaking around me for this past month. don't want to use that laptop ever again. That laptop sucks. It takes like 10 to 15 seconds. I have to like hover over an icon for like 5 seconds just to get the outline around the icon to light up. And then when I just like try to load a web page on that laptop, it takes about a solid 1 to 2 minutes to actually load. I have a powerful internet connection, except for that weekend when I didn't have the modem. So, what the fuck? So no, it was literally just the hardware that was causing that slowdown. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Acer Thorn is back. If you just watched the videos, you probably wouldn't. The only time you would have known that I was having computer troubles is from my Kiwi Farms is Dead Again video. Because in that case I really had no choice but to explain that I had computer problems, because that would explain the really low production value for that one. That being said, if you had been following my community posts, you would have known that I had been just struggling for the past fucking month to get my computer fixed. It looks like it's finally happened. Oh god, it's finally happened. I'm gonna try to start more along. Anyway, you probably wouldn't. That's the only. Anyway, I had a whole lot of scheduled uploads in the backlog, and that's why I've been able to do daily uploads for the past month and a half, or actually the past 2 months now. Because I just had so many videos scheduled to be uploaded that this entire month didn't actually upset the channel's upload schedule. So thank God for small miracles for that. Anyway, I just needed to vent, not just to you guys, but mostly to myself, that this has just been hell for me. Anyway, I'm back, baby. So, with that said, Acer Thorn out. Peace!